You want to spend time with God, but it's tough because your life is really, really busy. You have so many things on your schedule, and it seems as if you barely have a moment to yourself. I mean, if that's your story, believe me, I understand because I've been there a time or two. And today, I want to share with you exactly what you need to do in the midst of your busyness to get in that quality time with God. So stay tuned. Hey there, extraordinary child of God. I'm SaMonna, and this is the place where you learn to transition from where you are to where God wants you to be. And today, we're going to talk about the secret to making time for God. So, first, let me ask you, are you out here cheating on God? I mean, you're supposed to have a relationship with Him, and the elements of that relationship tend to consist of you spending time with Him. But if you're too busy to spend time with God, then that means that you're spending your time with someone or something else, and you are, in fact, cheating on God. Now, you might say, oh, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not cheating on God. I'm just busy. And to that, I would say, yes, you're a cheater, and you're cheating on God with an individual named busy. Now, I'm not judging you because my past is a bit tainted. There have definitely been seasons in my life when I've been caught up in the seductive snares of busy. Times when I would go to bed and instead of thinking about God, I was thinking about busy. Times when I would wake up in the morning, give God a quick hug and kiss, and then run off to hang out with busy. Times when God would call me during the day looking to have just a short little conversation, but I couldn't answer the call because I was caught up with busy. And what God showed me is that He doesn't necessarily have a problem with me having a relationship with busy because busy isn't necessarily the problem. The problem is when I spend so much time with busy that it begins to impact my relationship with Him. It's when I allow busy to ice Him out, or when I allow busy to erase Him out of my schedule, or when I allow busy to cause me to forget about God altogether. And God is saying the same thing to you. He doesn't have a problem with busy, but He does have a problem when you allow busy to creep into His time. And this is very dangerous because when you do this, you begin to forfeit some of the blessings that come with being in a relationship with God. You forfeit some of the protection, the wisdom, the guidance, and the peace that only comes from spending quality time with your Creator. And this is a position you never want to be in, which is why you have to understand the secret to making time for God. And thankfully, the secret is simple and it consists of only two words, just two words. And those two words are wake up. Wake up. Now, when I say wake up, you may or may not understand what I mean by it, so I'm going to unpack it for you. So, what I want you to do right now is I want you to imagine that you are busy. And I'm sure that's not very hard for you to do. So, just imagine with me right now that you have a family, a full time job. You're active at your local church. You attend extracurricular programs for your children. You try to exercise daily. You have to clean and maintain your home. You have to cook and meal prep. Or whatever in your life is causing you to be busy, you have to do. And I want you to think about that right now. And imagine that after you do all these things, you find that at the end of the day, you are dead tired. And you wonder, how in the world can you find time or the energy to spend time with God? Now, I want you to put on your spiritual lenses, and I want you to imagine someone who is busy, but they're never too busy for you. No matter what you're doing or how busy you get, He always has you penciled into His schedule. From the time you were born, He's been thinking about you, and He's been making plans for your life. And what's interesting is that He doesn't mind you being busy because busyness often works to His advantage. You see, the enemy always has time for you. He's always devising plans to try to destroy you and ruin your life. And as long as you're busy and not making time for God, you're making His job so much easier because you are not equipped to actively counteract His attacks. And as long as you stay busy and disconnected from God, the enemy is very pleased because he can take advantage of you. And to that I say, you, extraordinary child of God, need to wake up. Now that you have your spiritual lenses on, I want you to imagine someone else who is busy. And they too are never too busy for you. No matter what you're doing or how busy you get, He always has you penciled into His schedule. From the time you were born, He's been making plans for your life. But unlike the enemy, He's not trying to destroy you. He's actually trying to protect you, to love you, and to care for you. And every second of your life, He's standing by you, waiting for the opportunity to spend just a little bit of time with you. He wants to empower you so that He can bless you and equip you with everything you need to resist the enemy's attacks. But it seems as though you're too busy to receive His help. And to that I also say, you, extraordinary child of God, need to wake up. And you need to wake up to the reality of what it truly means not to spend time with God. And here's what I mean. You have to wake up to the fact that while you're too busy to make time with God, the devil is steadily making plans for you. Wake up. You need to wake up to the fact that while you're too busy to set aside and prioritize a few moments with your Creator, God is standing by, waiting to offer you peace and wisdom that will bring so much joy to your busy, busy life. Wake up. And finally, wake up to the fact that you desperately need to wake up. And I mean physically wake up in the morning and spend time with God. And so right now, I'm going to share with you 5 practical tips to help you wake up so that you can make time for God. Number 1, understand the importance. You need to understand the importance of spending time with God, which is why I spent the time explaining to you what is going on behind the scenes spiritually. Number 2, make the commitment. You need to tell yourself that you are going to make time for God. And this really helps with self-discipline and character development. I mean, how would you feel about someone who said they were going to do something, but they never did it? They never followed through. You would likely think they were flaky or not trustworthy. So this is an opportunity for you to become more disciplined and to develop your character so that you can be trustworthy and not a flaky individual. Number 3, you need to talk to your therapist. Listen, if you aren't spending time with God, I guarantee you got problems. Even if you don't know it, you got some problems. So what you need to do is talk to your therapist, aka Jesus, so you can get some help. I mean, why is it that we are always trying to do things on our own? Literally, it makes no sense. We serve a God who understands our struggles and has the power to help us do what we need to do. We don't go to Him and ask Him for help. Number 4, be intentional. And by that I mean, decide what time you're going to spend with God. And I would encourage you to do this first thing in the morning, before you start your day, before life gets really busy and all the distractions come in. I want you to pick a time frame and then create the atmosphere for worship. For me, I wake up at 4 a.m. to spend time with God. It's quiet and there are no distractions. I have a night light next to my bed that I use so I won't disturb my husband. And I also have my Bible, my iPad, and my journal on my nightstand ready to go. And when I'm really intentional, the night before, I'll fill up a thermos with hot lemon water or sometimes tea that I can drink while I'm reading the Word and spending time with God. I'm intentionally getting ready for the worship experience. And I want you to do the same, however that looks for you, whatever atmosphere you need to create, whatever time frame you need to set aside, but I want you to be intentional about it. And number 5, expect the blessing. What you have to remember is that spending time with God isn't about you checking off a box in your to-do list. It's so much more than that. Spending time with God is about you being spiritually empowered. You see, there are so many blessings and benefits that you will receive when you spend time with God. Well, that's all I have for you today, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You extraordinary child of God. And why don't you start making time for God right now? Be intentional.